Okay, great. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining and for your patience. Welcome to the first ever Qortal webinar called Qortal and the Unstoppable Internet, which this webinar is made for a couple of people, developers, builders, curious technologists, privacy lovers, anybody who's interested in building a brand new internet where there's no such thing as censorship, freedom of speech thrives, and where you could build apps that cannot be hacked or taken down. And my promise to you by the end of this webinar is that you'll understand how to deploy apps without servers, cloud, or smart contracts, which is a big promise, but you'll see that it's actually very easy to do when using Qortal. And this webinar will also include a live demo of how to build and deploy an app on Qortal. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be presented by my good friend Philip halfway through the webinar. So without further ado, let's get started and talk about first the problems with developing apps on the normal internet. Because let's face it, developers nowadays have a ton of problems when building their first web applications on the normal internet. But if I had to summarize it to 4 big problems, it would be the ones on the screen, which is, first of all, when a developer begins building an app on the normal internet, they have to pay for AWS or Supabase just to get started. These are big tech cloud providers. So even before you get to writing code, you're already incurring costs as a web developer, which is a huge barrier to entry because let's face it, not everybody maybe not everybody has those resources available to get started, or maybe they're just looking to get their feet wet with coding and they're not necessarily willing to pay those costs. Especially if you're a web developer and you're just trying to build a simple application that is going to be client-facing, you don't want to have to be worrying about incurring costs right off the bat. So that's definitely a big problem as a web developer. Then we have the need for a backend, even for things such as small features, right? If you're a web developer right now, you have unfortunately no choice but to learn a backend language, whether that be Java, PHP, C#. So if you're looking to just learn React or JavaScript, I should say, and just want to build a simple, I don't know, a to-do list, just as an example, or a recruiting website, you don't want to have to worry about learning these backend languages, especially if you're just coming out of school and you're just trying to get your feet wet, as I mentioned previously, right? So having the need to learn a backend language is another barrier to entry as a developer on the normal internet. Next, we have deploying even simple apps now requires paid services. I know this firsthand as a web developer myself. I recently had to build Qortal.dev, and just to deploy the website and build it so people could learn about Qortal, I had to pay for 6 different SaaS subscriptions. So every month, I'm incurring 6 different fees just to maintain my website online and for people to discover Qortal. In my opinion, this is excessive and exorbitant, and it shouldn't be that way. If you want to just build a simple web app, you shouldn't have to worry about paying for SaaS subscriptions right off the bat, especially 6 different ones. So definitely a huge problem when building on the normal web. And lastly, we have apps can be taken down by hosts, without warning. So when you deploy your website or your app on a domain host online, you're no longer in control of your application. They are in full control and can do whatever they want with it, whether that be censor it, take it down, or decide to hide it from you, right? Which is not something that's ideal, especially if you're building an application which might be a little bit politically incorrect or have more sensitive data on it. So these are things you don't want to have to worry about as a web developer. You just want to build your application and let your users use it in full confidence that it'll never be taken down or censored. So the internet we're building on today, to summarize, is not designed for developers. It's designed for big tech control and hegemony of the data that is found on their websites and their domains and their apps. So big problems that we're facing right now on the normal web. And if we move to the next slide, we have a new version of the web called Web3, which came about to potentially solve these issues. And the developers in this room probably recognize the logos on the left: Ethereum, Solana, Polkadot, Tron. These are all big players in the blockchain space. Unfortunately, we're coming into the same old traps with these problems, is that the servers are still reliant on big tech companies for core functions like consensus, APIs, indexing, and so much more. Furthermore, building on these blockchains in the Web3 space, the current Web3 space, is very expensive. It's overloaded with complex tooling, and it makes the transition to Web3 far harder than it should be for everyday developers. I myself had to build an app in the past for one of my clients for Ethereum, and let me tell you, it was not easy. The documentation was extremely complex to learn. The gas fees were astronomical just for users to make simple transactions, and users were reliant on third-party Chrome wallets, which is not ideal at all. So the current Web3 space, as we know it, has not at all solved the challenges that developers are facing on the normal internet. So we definitely need a better solution. And that's where this slide comes about, which is that the internet needs a new foundation. So we're going from a centralized web to a semi-decentralized Web3, which we just spoke about with these Web3 blockchain giants such as Ethereum and Solana. But we saw that they're not really solving the issues with the centralized web. So what is the solution to all this? It's fully decentralized Qortal. And I specifically wrote it that way because Qortal is the solution to these problems we're seeing with the Web 2.5, Web 3 space. And centralized cloud and half decentralized Web 3 aren't solving the real problems, excuse me. Developers need an independent network where apps live everywhere and not only on big tech servers. So what does Qortal do? It solves the fact that you don't have any hosting fees when you deploy an app. There's no such thing as domain renewals. There's no cloud providers. There's no centralized servers. And there's no complex smart contract systems that you need to learn when you're building your app. So essentially, you're getting rid of all the complexities that we found with the centralized web, and you're also stripping away all the complexities found with building on these blockchain giants. And instead, you're simplifying things for developers and making it extremely easy for them to deploy their apps on a decentralized peer-to-peer network. So that is why the internet needs a new foundation, and that is how Qortal is providing it. Now, if we go to the next slide, we'll see what Qortal actually fixes for developers. So there's a number of things Qortal fixes for developers, but if we had to summarize it to the main 6, it would be these 6 points. First one being that when you're deploying an app, you have 0 hosting fees, right? You're deploying your front end and it lives on the Qortal data network with no Amazon Web Services, no servers, and no recurring fees. Right now, to publish an app on the Qortal data network, it costs you a fraction of a US penny, which is pretty much nothing. Whereas if we compare it to building on the normal web, which we were talking about earlier, it's extremely expensive. Same thing with building on Ethereum or Solana or any major blockchain at the moment, extremely expensive due to the high gas fees. Next, we have the fact that you don't need any smart contracts, gas fees, or virtual machines. QApps run with simple JavaScript and lightweight API calls, so there's no complex blockchain engineering required. When you're building an app on Qortal, all you need to worry about is building the client-facing part of your application. In other words, all you need to know is JavaScript. You don't need to learn Solidity, which as a Ethereum engineer, you need to learn that language. It's a new thing to learn. You don't need to worry about authentication, databases, security. It's all handled for you by the Qortal core. So once again, we're stripping away all the complexities and making developing on Qortal much easier for web developers. Then we have the fact that you could update your application very easily. So version control is handled automatically. Every publish becomes a new version on the network. All you do is publish again. This makes it super easy. If you just want to update your application with a simple bug fix, you don't have to worry about going through hoops and hurdles. All you do is republish it to QDN, and everything is handled for you under the hood by Qortal. So once again, making it very easy for web developers to get started on Qortal. Then we have the fact that a real decentralized storage layer exists on Qortal, also known as QDN. So you could store your app files right on the network instead of on cloud providers. There are 0 middlemen. This speaks for itself. Qortal has its own data layer, QDN. This is very different than, say, other blockchains such as Ethereum or Solana, which rely on centralized data layers such as IPFS, which is decentralized in theory, but still relies on big tech centralized nodes for consensus, which at the end of the day, it is not decentralized at all. Next, we have the fact that permanent storage with no takedowns is possible on Qortal. So your app can be seized, censored, shadow banned, or domain parked. So once you publish your application to the Qortal data network, you're essentially making it live forever unless you as the developer choose to either remove it, modify it, or whatever. Nobody else can do that except for the owner of that Q app. This is a huge game changer because essentially your app cannot die. It cannot be censored, taken down, which is a huge problem we're seeing on the normal web. So all that is gone with using Qortal and QDN. And lastly, native identities are built directly into the protocol. So you don't need to manage authentication or user accounts. It's handled automatically by Qortal. We're going to be talking about that a little bit more during the demo, but for now, just understand that as a developer, all you got to worry about is building the front end of your application and making sure that it's properly built and clean, and that's it. All the rest is handled by the Qortal core. And how does Qortal actually work? Well, at the bottom, I created a simple diagram. You have nodes, you have the Qortal data network, you have names, and then you have Q apps, and they're all interconnected. They're all reliant on one another. And that is because Qortal is a fully peer-to-peer infrastructure. So that is to say that there are no middlemen. There's no big tech companies involved, no intermediaries, no gatekeepers. Every node stores requested data and participates in consensus, meaning that anybody coming into Qortal can become a minter and start validating transactions. The Qortal data network is used for hosting files and apps, so you don't have to rely on any centralized cloud services. The naming system replaces domains and DNS, so you don't have to worry about censorship from the big domain platforms. And QApps use front-end files and simple JavaScript logic, as we mentioned earlier. So for web developers, this is perfect because all you got to worry about is building the client-facing part of your application. And lastly, there are no servers and no cloud layers between you and your users. Another important point that we've mentioned numerous times already. So what can you build on Qortal today? There's actually numerous applications that have already been built. These are just the top 5 that I came up with from the top of my head, but there's actually hundreds of applications that have already been built on Qortal. Just to name a few, there's QTube, which is a full video hosting platform hosted on QDN, just like all these other apps. They're all deployed on the Qortal data network. You have QShop, which is a decentralized marketplace. QFund, which is a peer-to-peer crowdfunding, where you could raise funds, raise courts for your next initiative on Qortal, completely decentralized, completely peer-to-peer. Qmail, which is encrypted communication. In other words, another way of sending emails on Qortal. And lastly, I wrote custom QApps because any front end using JavaScript and Qortal APIs can be built using Qortal. So these are just 5 examples, but the possibilities are truly endless when building on Qortal. So now I'm going to hand the floor to my friend Philip to talk about Qortal in action, because there's no better way to learn about Qortal than to see it in action. And here's what we're going to show you. We're going to be showing you a tour of existing QApps. So over here on this screen, you can see one screenshot of the QApps library. As you can see, there's already a ton of apps that have been built, as I mentioned previously. You're going to learn how a QApp is structured, which is very important as a developer. And you will see that it's very easy to structure your QApps when building them out. You're going to learn how to publish to the Qortal data network, which is extremely easy once your app is completed. And then lastly, we're also going to learn how users access QApps through Qortal Names, and we're going to understand how that works. So let me go ahead and let Philip share his screen.
Hi, everyone. My name is Philip. I'm a developer on Qortal. And right now, I'm going to be doing the demo, like Justin said. So I'm going to share my screen. OK. Can everybody see it? Can Justin see it? Yeah.
I don't see your screen.
No?
Try sharing it again.
OK, I'll stop it. Share screen. OK, I'm sharing it again.
No, I still don't see it.
We can see Philip, but not his screen. OK. Stop sharing. I'm going to see if
Okay,
how
can
about
you
now?
try again? Can you try again?
Yeah, I tried again.
No, all I see is black.
Okay.
I think it's because I was still sharing. Sorry. Try
Oh,
it again. Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I had to know. Well, I wasn't sharing, but I had to remove my entire thing. It's kind of silly.
How about now?
No, still not. Oh, there you go. I
You
had
see it?
to add you to the stage. Okay, sorry guys.
Oh.
A little technical issue there. Sorry about that.
No problem. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you first. The first thing, we're going to go right away and see examples of Q apps, which are Qortal applications. But we're going to be using that term Q app from now on, just because it's shorter and nicer. Okay, so the first thing is now we are on Qortal Hub, which is the user interface for Qortal on Linux, Mac, and Windows. And the first thing we're going to go is in apps over here. And I already pre-clicked on these applications, so we're seeing right away QTube, which, like Justin said, is a fully decentralized video sharing platform. And so already we could see videos that users have published. And so this is non-censorable. It's fully decentralized, peer-to-peer. And over here, we could even see one of Justin's videos. So any of these videos I could click, enter in, and then play the video. And not only can I play it, I could also interact by writing a comment. Great content. And then I publish, and there it is. And now everybody can see my comment. So that was a publish actually to QDN. And as you can see, it's very fluid and very seamless. And we also have different other things, like, for example, you could create a super like, which is you could add a comment and also financially reward or donate money to that channel. So there's also finance involved in these Q apps if you wish so, if you wish your app to have those functions. So this is QTube. So any kind of video, almost every kind of video, unless it's not proprietary in the browser, you can publish. You could publish any kind of video. It's just displayed through the Electron browser. Some codecs are proprietary. Nevertheless, so the next application is we're going to see is called Qmail. Like Justin said, this replaces almost like email, but in the sense that you can publish encrypted content to another user, and only they are able to decrypt it. So for example, let's say I go to Compose over here, and I know Justin's Qortal name is Justin. And let's say I go, I don't know, hey, how are you? So I just go send message, I accept the publish, and then I sent the encrypted message, and only Justin's able to decrypt it. So this is Qmail. The next one we have is QFund, which what you could do is you could start a crowdfunding initiative. And so you put a title of your crowdfund, you put a description, you put a goal amount, and then at the end date of your crowdfund. And at the end of the crowdfund, it will disperse all the donations to the person that created the crowdfund automatically. So for example, if I go to Croatics Qortal Hosted Infrastructure Fund, I can see he created all this detail to try to raise funds, and you can see the donor list and everything. But this fund has ended. But yes, so this is QFund. Next, we're going to go to Quitter, which is a fully decentralized social media application on Qortal. So you could write posts, update posts, like a post. You see here's Justin. I've already liked it. And you could add a comment, for example, as a reply. And so this is an example of creating a social media application on Qortal. And lastly, we have QShop, which is a decentralized marketplace where people create stores and sell products. So this is just all these applications we're showing you here is an illustration of how you could create powerful applications that are fully decentralized. Okay, so the next step in all this is I want to show you how easy it is to start creating your own Q app. Now, I use React, so I'm going to show you how to quickly start up a React application very easily. And to do so, what we've done for the community is create a library, which is a CLI tool that when installed and when executed, will create a bare bone React application that you could use to publish on Qortal. So let's just go into it and see how that works. So I'm in a terminal right now in VS Code. Of course, you can open up the terminal by itself. And the first thing you need to do is install that library, that CLI tooling library. So you do npm install -g, we're going to install it globally, and it's called create Qortal app. All right, so that's going to install this package globally. So you could execute this. You can execute the command anywhere in any terminal. Okay, so we have that installed, and so to create our first React application, we're going to do npx create Qortal app. Let me hide that. Okay, so it's asking me what's the name of your application. I'm going to do, I don't know, webinar app. All right, I have to select the template. There's only one right now, React default template. I'm going to press enter. And so right now what it's doing, it's installing all the dependency, and it's going to make everything useful to us when it's completed. And if you have VS Code already installed, it will automatically open the projects, this new projects workspace in a new window, as you'll see. Okay, there we go. It's opened up. Yes.
Sorry, Phil. We can't see the terminal because your camera is blocking it.
My camera is blocking it.
Yeah, just increase the size of your CLI terminal, or else we can't see it. Just make it bigger, taller. Make it taller.
Oh
yeah.
But,
okay. Yeah. Thank you, man.
Could you at least see the bottom?
No, but it's okay. It's
okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, so it installed all the dependencies, and it opened up our new project. So this is our new project that it created automatically. So now we already have all the tooling available to us to start our new Qortal application in React. So I'm going to open a new terminal over here, and I'm going to make this larger so everybody could see. And one thing that came by using this tooling, create Qortal app, is if you go to the package.json, you can see that it installed this other library that we have called qapp-core. And within qapp-core, you have many helper tools that make things very easy to do publishing and other things on Qortal. Okay, so let's just see how this looks like, this bare bone starter application. So let's start it in dev mode, and what you have to do is npm run dev, and it's going to start it on port 5173. And now if we go back to Qortal Hub, so one thing you need to do is you need to enable dev mode on Qortal, on the Qortal Hub. So if you go in the top right here in settings, you have to make sure this is enabled. For me, it's already enabled, but if it's not for you, you just click on it. And what you'll see here, this will appear now, dev. So you click on that. And like I said, our port was 5173, I believe. Yeah, 5173. So we go to server over here, and we put in 5173. Click enter. We authenticate, accept. And so this is what you'll see when you're starting a React application on Qortal from scratch. We say welcome to Qortal, and this is my name. So everybody has a name on Qortal if you register, if you had registered one. And this is just telling me that the theme is dark. If you change the theme on Hub, it'll go into light mode. All right, so already we have our new Q app working with Hub on dev mode. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to open up a project that I already pre-filled, and what this app will be is we're going to be able to publish a video and then play it. And I'm going to show you how easy in less than 70 lines of code, really, to do that. Okay, so let me just close this and close the dev mode in the new one that we just made. And we're going to go to one that, yeah, let's just close all of this. And this is the one that I already pre-filled. Let's just start it up and see how it looks like. So npm run dev 5173. Accept authentication. Okay, so it's we made this app very, very simple. It's going to look ugly, but of course you can always make it nice. But it's just to give you an example of how easy it is to publish a video and then view it. Okay, so we have just to give you an overview of the application, we have two buttons that lead to two different pages. We have a publish page where you choose a file, put in a title, put in a description, and submit to publish. And over here, you go to list. It will show all the videos that we've published. Now we have none, so it says no results available. Okay, so let's concentrate on this publish page. So if we go over here, I am now in this page, publish, and let's just like orient ourselves a little bit. Okay, so what do we see? Let's go back to the application. What do we see? We see publish the title. We see choose video file, title, description, and a submit button. Let's check where those things are in this component. Okay, so we have the publish title, right? We have a select video file. So this whole thing is the input for the user to select a file. We have the title field. We have the description field, and we have this button. Okay, and so pretty much we're doing the publishing when we click this button, which you'll be able to click if you fill out all these three. Let's just fill them out. We won't publish yet, but let's just fill them out. I don't know, tutorial video, a description, an awesome video. I don't know. Okay, and see now we could click the submit button. So all the action is going to be done when we click that submit button. So let's go see that function that handles that submit. So we're not just, there's an on click here. We're going to go to that function. And okay, so what we're going to be doing here, so our end goal is to publish a video and then display it. So what we're going to do is we're going to be publishing two things. Okay, at the end of this function, we're going to be publishing two things. One is the actual video file. The other one we're going to be publishing is metadata for that video. Because once we display the list of videos, we want to display the title, description, and then have a player where they could click. Okay, so let's just another thing to understand. So we're doing two publishes, one for video, one for metadata. Each publish requires a location that you have to give it. This location consists of a service type, a name, and an identifier. Now the name is the person that's publishing's Qortal name. So if we go over here, back, my name is Atest. So we already have that. When the user authenticates, we already have, if they've authenticated, we already have their name, and if they have a name. But we have their name available to us. So that's good. We don't have to worry about that. The second thing is we need to choose a service type. Well, we're publishing a video, and we do have a service type called video, so we're going to choose that for the video. Now, for the second publish that hosts this title and description, we're going to use the service type metadata. So we have that. So we have name, and we already know which service types we're going to be using. The third thing in a location for a resource is the identifier. Now, the identifier is a unique string for each publish that you're doing. So for example, let's say we're publishing two videos. The first video's identifier, to make it very easy, we're going to we could put video 1. And let's say we're going to publish a second video. We're not going to put video 1, because if we do, then we're going to replace or update the previous video that we published, because we put the identifier there, video 1. So the second video we're going to do is put video 2, and so on and so forth. So an identifier has to be unique to each resource. If not, you're going to be overriding the previous one. Okay, so let's just look over here very easily. Over here, we're just checking if the user that's been authenticated has a name. If not, they can't publish, because like Justin said, QDN, publishing to QDN requires a name. Okay, so over here, if you jump to line 50 over here, we have the form data. So what the user put in. Remember, the user is putting in 3 things. He's selecting a video, putting in a title, and putting a description. So we're just those are those values over here. So in here, we're just validating to see, as a user selected a video, as a user put in a title, as a user putting a description. So that's very basic. Okay, so now we're going to be constructing the identifier. So like I said, we're doing 2 publishes once again, video and then metadata. And now, like I said, you could build the identifier in your own way. We could have just put in, for example, over here, instead of doing this, we could put video and then put a unique ending to it. For example, that, or if you wanted to hard code it, but that's not really good for a popular application. You could do video 1, video 2, video 3, like I previously said. But what's amazing about the way we're doing it now, like I said, when we create this application, it installed QApp-Core as a dependency, which gives us a lot of many useful functions. And one of them is to automatically build our identifiers. So we're using this identifier operations.build identifier to just build our identifier, so we don't have to worry about that logic. I won't get into this in this tutorial, what the parameters are for build identifier, but just know that it will build an identifier for us. Okay, so let's now construct what is needed in order to do the video publish. So like I said, every publish needs a location, identifier, service, and name. So we have those 3 here. We have service is going to be video, name, we know the user's name, and then we're going to, since this is the video, we're going to be putting file and then the video file that the user selected. So we have the option to put the actual video object, file object of the video when publishing. So this is all that's needed in its most basic form when publishing a video. So we have that done. So let's move on to the metadata. So we have the video part ready. Let's go to the metadata. Now the metadata, like I said, it's going to store the title and description that the user put. And we're also going to put the location of the video. So we made the location over here. We're just going to put the same values, because what we're going to do is we're going to list all the metadata video, all the metadata resources, because then we have access to their title, description, and also we're going to be inputting the location. So we could put the video player and just give in the video player the location of the actual raw video data, and it'll go and get it. So these are the things that we need for our purposes. Now, what we're going to do is we are going to convert this object and use it as a JSON. But to publish, to do the publishing, we have 2 options. Like I said, we could pass in a file like we did with the video, or we could pass in base64. So what we're going to do is we're going to convert this object into base64. So over here is everything that's needed for the metadata. So let's compare it to the video. If we go up here, this was all that was needed to do video publishing. We have the location, and then we have the file, and then the actual video file. Over here, we're not using a file. We have the location of the metadata, plus we have the opportunity to put base64 instead of file. And this will be eventually this data over here. Okay, so we have everything ready to do the video publish and also the metadata publish. And we're going to do the actual publishing with this function over here provided to you by QApp-Core. So all you have to do is put in those two things that we made. So we have the metadata to be published, and then we have the video to be published, which is up here. And that's it. Once it gets to this point, it's going to ask the user to, if they accept to do this publish, and then if successful, it'll continue down this down here. If the user declines or it fails, it'll show up in the catch. So already with just honestly like probably 50 lines of code, we're able to we have all the code necessary in order to do a publish. So let's see how that looks. Okay. So we go here. We're going to go to the publish page. We're going to choose a video. I'm just going to click on this one. I'm going to do Justin's video, and I don't know. I'm just going to put a cool video. So we're going to submit. It's going to go through that handle submit button, and then it's going to ask the user, do they want to publish? So they accept. And everything's been published. So just like that, we published to QDN, the Qortal Data Network, our video and metadata. Very easy, just a couple lines of code. Now let's go see how that looks like in the list. All right, we have our title, Justin's video, our description, cool video, and then you could play the video. And there it is. So let's just check now how we're getting the list of videos and displaying them. Okay, so we're going to go to this list page over here. And as you can see, it's very small. It's only like 40 lines of code. Now, because we have access to the QApp-Core library, it gives us a really cool component called resource list display. And what we could do here, all we have to do is put in three things that are important. So let's start off with the search. The search is pretty much we're querying the metadata service. Like I said, we're going to be fetching a list of metadata because that contains all the stuff that's useful for the user to see before they actually play a video. So the title, description, etc. And also it contains our video location. And so we just have to put that in search. And then over here, we have entity params. Now, we won't get into this, but if we go back to the publish, when we created our identifiers, we're using these two entity parameters. So all you have to do is put those same entity parameters over here. And just like that, it will go and list all the videos that you've published. So very, very easy, very easy. The third thing here is list item. List item is pretty much what this resource list display component will do. It'll go automatically fetch the videos that your application has published. And then for each item that it fetched, in our case, the metadata, the video metadata, it will return to us that data, and we'll be able to display that data through this callback. So list item. If you go here, list item, it will return to us over here, or we'll have access to this raw data field. This raw data, this over here, data, will contain our title, description, and video location, exactly what we published earlier. And this is a new component. So we're going to pass pretty much our title, description, and video location to this component. And this component, all it does is it takes that data and displays the title, displays the description. And then over here, we made it, again, easy because QApp-Core provides to you a video player. And all you have to put into the video player is the video's location. So like I said, when we publish the metadata, we put in the title, description, and video location. So we have the video location. So we just have to put the video location over here. So we have the location being the name, the service, and the identifier. And that's it. And it will automatically do all the hard stuff behind the scenes. And that's what you see over here. So it's very, very easy to create. Right now, this is a basic application, but imagine doing this on Web2 or even in other blockchain projects. I doubt it's as easy as this. This is, I know for a fact that Web2 is a lot more complicated, but on Qortal, super, super easy to publish all sorts of data and then fetch them and then render it the way you want to render it. Okay, so now we have our basic application. It looks ugly, but it served its purpose. So what we're going to do now is actually publish our application so that everybody has access to this application. So what we're going to do is we're going to just quit the development server, and all we have to do is do npm run build. So what that's going to do is going to minify our code and just package in a way that's optimized. And the result will be that a disk folder will appear. So let's just wait until that's done. It's almost done. Okay, so now it's built and ready, almost ready to be published. What we need to do is this dist folder that you see on the left, we need to just put that put into a zip. So we're gonna just open the directory where that dist folder lives. We're gonna right-click it. Well, I'm on Linux, so I just have to do compress, and I'm gonna compress it into a zip. Okay, so now we are ready to publish this. So what we have to do now is go back to Qortal Hub. I'm just gonna close this. We're gonna go to Apps, open a new tab. I go to Library, and then here it says Update your app. But if you're a first-time publisher, it will just say Publish your app. So go here, you select your name. I'm just going to use a-test, which is my name, my primary name. And then I'm going to choose the disk folder that we just created. Okay, so now this already pre-filled because I already published an application, but you put in the title, description, and category. Okay, so now I just have to click on Publish. I accept the 0.01 court fee, which is very low. It's like 1/20th of a cent or something like that, a US cent. Accept. Publishing. And there we have our application. Now anybody that that's on Qortal can access my application. And they could do it in two ways. They could go and search for my application over here by title, or they could go straight over here and do app/a-test, and they can enter into the application. So publishing, very easy, and accessing it, very easy as well, by pretty much accessing the application by the Qortal name that they published the application. Anyways, so I hope it wasn't too long, this demo, but I think it showed the power and ease of publishing completely decentralized applications on Qortal. And by the way, now there's no hosting fees. I published, cost me 0.01 court, very cheap. And now people can access it. And as long as I don't update it, it's there pretty much forever. Well, forever actually. Okay, so thank you for listening to this demo, and I'll give it back to Justin.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to add something to what you said.
Yeah.
All that was done without servers and without intermediaries. I think we should reinforce that point, you know?
Yeah. So everything that you're doing on Qortal Hub is the only thing it communicates to is the Qortal core, which is running in the background. It does not do any calls or interact with other services or anything outside of your computer, really. So the only communication it has is with your Qortal core, which is pretty much the thing that works in the background that validates blockchain transactions and does all the hard, heavy lifting in the background.
Definitely. There was a question from Hassan before you stopped sharing your screen, Philip, which
Okay.
is he was a bit confused about the location part of the code. If you could just go back to that part where you were talking about location.
Yeah, so I'll give you an example. Okay. So here, where I'm at now is just I can access all the API endpoints on for the Qortal core, and over here with this endpoint, we can see all our publishes, so videos, applications, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to just get the latest 20. So every time, so over here, it'll list all the publishers on Qortal right now. You could filter it by name, but I'm not going to do that. And over here, you could see different fields. So we see our name, service, and identifier, and it's the same pretty much for all of them. Okay. Now, for example, let's say I wanted to fetch this resource. So this was our metadata, right? And we have our video here, and this is our metadata. Let's say we wanted to access our metadata. So the way the endpoint to access our metadata is what is it? I think it's serve metadata name, and then name minus -8 and then identifier. Just going to copy that. So in order to download the thing that we published, we need to locate it. Like, how do we download it? Like, how do we download it? So we need to know like where it exists, and to know where it exists, it goes by name, service, and identifier. That's why I call it the location, because when you make this call, you need to provide those fields, because it looks into your Qortal core database to see what you're trying to fetch. So if I go that, you see, and it downloaded the JSON. So that's happening on our application as well. So if we go over here in network and we go to list over here, in behind the scenes over here, when we went to list, let's scroll this down, this thing does it all automatically, does all the fetching. Now you could do it manually by doing a fetch and then doing this call, these calls over here. But behind the scenes, it's going to be querying all the things that you published by name, identifier, and service. That's why I call it the location. And so, so when you publish a resource, you need to give it some fields so that in the database, it puts them in a, it stores them, that data, in a way that you're able to access later. So just view it this way. When you're publishing and when you're fetching, you need to know, when publishing, you need to give it those three fields for the location. You need to give it a identifier, a service, and a name. Now, knowing which service is dependent on the content you're publishing. If you're publishing a video, it's better to publish on the video service. If it's just a file, there's a file service, et cetera, et cetera. Name is very easy. Who is doing the publishing? So in my case, a-test, because I authenticated with that name, is doing the publishing. That's very easy to find out, because this application gives you access to the name by auth on name, which auth comes from just pretty much our QApp library. QApp core library. Now you could do it all. You don't have to use this QApp core. You could do everything with simple fetches. But if you're using React, this library that we created just makes everything easier. And so just to make it simple, when you're publishing, you need to give it those three fields: identifier, service, and name. And when you're fetching, you need to tell the core what exactly are you looking for, and you do that by giving it the service type, the name, and the identifier. Now, if you're looking for a list of, let's say, videos that we published. Let's make our example easy. Let's say we've published 3 videos, and for those 3 videos, we're going to give it 3 simple identifiers. 3 simple identifiers. So we're going to do video 1 for the first video, video 2 for the second video, video 3 for the third video. Now, what you could do to query and get a list of all the videos you publish, when you're doing the querying, you provide, let's say you want all my videos that I've published. You could query by name, which is a-test, because that's the one I used. You put in the service, and then what you could do is just in the identifier field, you just put the prefix, because then it will give you a list of all the videos that started with video dash. Now, if you just wanted video -1, then you just put video -1. But if you wanted to get all the list of all the videos that you published, then you do video dash. But we made it much easier that you just have to use this component, and it'll do all that hard work in the background for you. And I hope that I explained it succinctly.
Yeah, no, it was very good. Thanks for clarifying that. I don't think we have any other questions. Let me go ahead and just share the final slide. 1 second. Okay, perfect. So yeah, thanks for everyone for joining. Appreciate you all attending and for the good question at the end. If you guys want to follow Qortal, there's many ways to do it. You could send me an email, justin@Qortal.dev. Follow us on Telegram at Qortal_official, or on X, Qortal_official. And my suggestion would be to go ahead and download Qortal Hub. Honestly, check out Qortal, explore it, create an account, get your first court, which if you need court, drop a comment on Discord or on Telegram, and we'll be glad to give you your first court. And yeah, just get started, get your hands dirty on the platform, and start using it. That's the best way to learn and to truly see the power as a developer of using Qortal, is to just get your hands dirty and start building your first Q app, which is really, as we saw, as Philip showed you, it's not hard at all. It's actually much easier than building a normal app on the normal internet. And yeah, that's it. Did you have any last things to say, Phil?
Yes, so you could download Qortal Hub by going to Qortal.dev/downloads. And if you want a step-in-step instruction, we've also made a new page on Qortal.dev called Qortal.dev/onboarding. And through that onboarding, you'll be able to also receive your 6th court automatically by going through those steps. So just check out those 2 links, Qortal.dev/downloads and Qortal.dev/onboarding.
Yeah, and for those that want to get Philip's code, I just dropped a link in the chat. I'm also going to put a link on the YouTube description for the YouTube Live, and on the email I'm going to send out at the end. But yeah, it's link.Qortal.dev/webinar code, and then for the slides, it's link.Qortal.dev/webinar-slides. For those that want to get the slides of the presentation as well. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining tonight, and hopefully we'll see you guys soon in the next webinar. This is just the beginning, and sorry again for the small technical difficulties, but it's the first webinar, so it was to be expected, and the next one will be a lot smoother and better. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and take care.